Hello. This is Sid and Millie Chats. I'm Sid,
I'm Millie.
and we invite you to be a fly on our wall. We just finished watching the Manchester United versus Leicester game today at home at Old Trafford.
In the FA
We
Cup.
in the FA Cup,
Mhm.
yes. We did win, not
Yes.
without some
Yeah.
some negatives that we
That
could
one.
probably talk about, but
Yeah.
it was a win,
Well,
so we do
yeah.
have to celebrate at least that piece of it.
100%. Well, let's let you decide today, Sid. You want to go, you want to start with the positives or do you want to end with the positives?
Um,
All, all up to
let's
you.
let's end on a positive
End on the
note.
positives?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get right into where we went wrong. The first 45 minutes of the game, probably some of the worst football I've ever watched in my entire life. Like in my entire existence of
Wow.
watching football. All almost what now 25 years I've been consciously
Like
watching the
watching,
sport.
yeah.
Awful. Worst. I mean, at home, at Old Trafford, in a cup game against a team that's in relegation. I know we're close to there too, but a team
Yeah.
that's actually in the relegation zone, and we've managed 0 shots on target in the first half.
Yeah.
Does
It's
does
sad.
that it just doesn't even make sense. It doesn't
No.
sound right. And if you've been a long-term Manchester United fan, you know that this isn't right. You know that the style of football they're playing isn't right. We noticed it. You heard me say it multiple
Multiple
times.
times how quiet it was in the stadium.
Old
There was
Trafford.
no life.
No,
It was so unlively.
unlively. The commentators noted it multiple
Yeah,
times.
and the commentators were also quiet.
Quiet because
There were
there was
multiple
nothing.
points where we're like, is the volume on the TV on?
Yeah, he turned up the volume on the TV multiple times to see if we were missing something.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't sure what was going on, why it was so quiet in the stadium. The commentators had nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, first 45. So we've just signed a new guy.
Two.
Two new players, but one of them is a player that Ruben claimed we needed more wingbacks to fill the wingback role.
Yeah, let's
So-
talk about positioning.
Let's talk about positioning. Let's get into it because we just signed a left-footed wingback who started the game today in the right wingback position. And our right-footed wingback started in the left wingback position. So
What?
why have we just
It's hard to even like try and figure out what the point was.
what I can't understand. And then you've subbed him at halftime, which is gonna do any player's confidence in for sure.
Yeah.
It's never a good look, but yeah, it's just absolutely insane. So when you have two wing backs that both are on their weaker foot, naturally, as a footy player, naturally you will gravitate towards your stronger foot.
Right.
If you know, like any
That
person
just in general
generally
makes sense.
you would gravitate. Just like if you're right-handed, you do most of your
You're
life
not gonna write
things.
with your left hand.
Exactly. Not by choice, right?
Right.
Right. So what did we see in the game? Possession gets to our wing backs. And what are their options? Every single time they're cutting inside.
Right.
Why are they doing that? They have to do that to get to their stronger foot. So Dallo is cutting inside on his right foot into more midfielders, into traffic, into a bad position, closing down our midfielder space, and then connecting bad passes when what we really need is wingbacks who are able to dribble up the line, to take space up the line, take their first touch forward up the line.
Right. And there were so many times, even the commentators were saying it about, oh, they're going back again.
Yep.
Back towards Onana, and all he can do is try and ping a long ball.
Ping it long. And what are we expecting from Højlund when he's up against two massive center backs with his back to goal, 30 yards away from goal?
Right.
I mean, it's just unrealistic. I mean,
What is he supposed to do with that?
right. And that's even if Onana's ball gets to
Right.
Højlund. I mean,
9 times
being
out of
honest.
10, we lose the ball when that happens.
Exactly. So just by halftime, we had, again, 0 shots on target. Possession was 50-50. So this style of play that we've been promised is non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen it. We're still waiting on it. It's honestly unacceptable.
Yeah,
I mean, you're playing at Old Trafford and you've not challenged the goalkeeper in the first half.
Right. So again, what are we doing?
It
What
just-
is the goal? because it's not scoring goals.
Right,
Like,
right. And again, like the possession, I guess it's fine, but we weren't dominating possession. By halftime,
right,
it
it
was
was
50-50,
50-50.
right, with possession. So that wasn't even a big thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can move past that terrible first half, awful half of football to watch.
Yeah.
But once we limped through the first 45 minutes, we got into the second half. So we saw the immediate substitute. Dorogu got subbed immediately at halftime.
Right.
And Garnacho came on. Obviously, Garnacho was an immediate spark because he understood the assignment. And once again, was a player who was willing to get to the end line, get the crosses in, and crossing to empty space, unfortunately. Yeah. And why, a lot of times you're probably wondering why his cutbacks weren't finding someone like Bruno or Eriksen. But that's because Bruno was further back again. Because Bruno is deeper in the midfield today, not playing his more comfortable position.
Yeah.
So we're wondering why, we're not even creating big chances really until later in the game.
Right.
It's partially due to the fact that like Bruno is now playing further back in the midfield.
Because the other thing, because Garnacho came on for Manu, right?
No, the first sub was Garnacho on for I think it's Dorgu.
Okay.
And he was the first sub. Garnacho at halftime, and then I think at that point Amon moved to the wing back position, I believe.
Okay.
I think is what happened. I know Zirkzee came on like shortly into the half. Like
okay.
Maybe,
well, I was wondering just with even Manu's positioning, because I remember not the last game but the game before you said he was like the star,
right?
And like you really liked how he was in the 10 position.
Yeah. So it's like right behind like the forwards,
right? Okay.
And that is where he played today.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it was like more of a quiet day for him,
right?
But again, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the commentators did touch on it after the game, which I think is true. I think like a lot of the players don't necessarily have the confidence in the system. The confidence is lacking due to the poor results.
Right.
I mean, despite the wins, as a player, you still know, like you can feel.
Yeah, like you might win, but you know that like you didn't play the best.
Exactly.
Or like the team didn't play the best as a whole. Like that's something that you have to watch back and like
100%
learn from. But I mean, are we seeing any of that happening?
Well, right. I mean, that's the thing. And we've seen these consistent slow starts and slow first halves for, weeks now. It's been weeks. And I think, again, the expectation that we're going to be able to bring in, 7 new players in the summer, it's just not realistic. And at the end of the day, like we also have to look at the football that we're seeing now and also look at, is this worthy of, following this vision and sacking off a lot of players that maybe shouldn't be to build a system that might not
doesn't even seem to work
right
at this point.
Right. So it's just like, at the end of the day, United fans were upset last season. And the issue with Ten Hag was that there wasn't a style of play, a recognizable style of play. And even that, he won the FA Cup and, finished in 8th place, that those things weren't good enough. But now look at us. Now we're closer to relegation than we are to 8th place. 8th place would be nice now.
Wow, yeah.
So, we can keep, romanticizing this vision, like Ruben after the game saying, trophies don't really matter because obviously there's a bigger picture, but we have to see some signs of that picture being built at some point.
The picture is a blank slate right now.
Right. Like this is
there's no paint on the canvas yet.
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, like with the group of players that is there, we know that they are capable of something. They can finish in the top half of the Premier League and they can deliver trophies in back-to-back seasons. So the football aspect is the part that was always kind of missing from the side. But, that was kind of the promise with the new manager. That was kind of the thing, was that we were going to focus on the build and less on the short-term trophies. But if you think about it from the business aspect, like Man United is a LLC. They're a publicly traded company with some
Right.
private,
That's such a good
right,
point.
with some billionaire backing for sure.
Right.
But it's a public company, right? Trophies and finishing in the top half of the table help keep your stock
Your
shareholders,
shareholders
right?
happy. Yeah.
Exactly.
They want results. They want to see
This is
something actually
yes,
tangible happening in front of them.
So that was the thing that we had chatted about after
Mhm.
the game, was that there has to be something tangible. Idealistic style of football is not a tangible goal for a club to really chase after. What is tangible is winning trophies here
Yeah.
and right now. And yes, you want some brand of football, but I promise you, the brand of football that United fans want to just see is that attacking football.
Yeah.
They want to see attacking. We want to see goals. We want to see shots on target. Try saying that 3 times. We want to see shots on target.
You want to watch exciting football.
Yes.
Like you,
I mean, yes, simply put,
yeah. At the end of the game, you were dreading the idea of
extra
them
time.
Going into extra time.
Oh my God, yeah. Maguire, thank you. Like, and the sideline ref, thank you. Because they saved us all from having to watch, not even having to watch, having to suffer through 30 more minutes of Amorim ball. It would have been rough to get through.
Yeah.
And it was, look, Zirkzee came on, was a fantastic sub. Garnacho came on, immediate fantastic sub. What we saw immediately, as soon as our wingers started attacking their outside backs, Leicester curled up into a shell.
Mm-hmm.
And so it almost wonders, ding, 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 why weren't we attacking
right.
this lower level team the entire game?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. It's poor management. Like, we need to know these things. Where was our scouting report? How did we not know that they were a team that struggles under pressure from wide service and from wide attackers? Garnacho was walking past them.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's something in our scouting report we could have keyed in on so that we would have known in the first half to run at these guys. I mean, they put in multiple crosses in the first half. We put in 0 crosses in the first half because Dalot and Zirkzee had to keep cutting in on their weaker foot. But as soon as in the second half, we started getting to the end lines and putting in crosses, they were shocked. They were giving up corners left and right, giving up set pieces left and right. They fully crumbled under the pressure. And that just came from putting on attacking-minded players. Zirkzee playing in between the lines, receiving the ball, and being able to switch the field quickly. It unlocked Bruno, which allowed Bruno to then be spreading more balls. And who were they aiming for every time? Garnacho to go and run at people, and Ahmad to start running at people. Like, it wasn't until those changes came that United started playing.
That, like, excitement and like the drive from the players.
Right.
Yeah.
And we finally got some shots on target. And what happens when you get shots on target?
Goals.
Easy recipe. I mean, it's not crazy. We're not crazy for saying that.
Mad scientists out here.
No, it's simple equations. If we shoot on target, we will score goals. Like, statistics. So that's what we did in the second half and immediately won the game.
Yeah.
Which allows us, I guess, to transition into what positives we did have today.
Yes.
So
what were the positives?
The positives, I've kind of brushed on them. Garnacho was fantastic.
Yeah.
Zirkzee was brilliant. I mean, scored with probably his first touch on the ball.
I know, within like a few minutes of coming onto the field.
Right, right place, right time. Obviously, that started with Garnacho running at his defender, beating his defender, being a true winger, understanding his assignment as a winger, and beating his defender, getting the cross in. And when you do that, dangerous things happen.
Yeah.
When the ball is mixing around in the box.
I know, after Højlund's like
back
deflection off of the defender.
So yeah, Garnacho was a bright spark for us. Zirkzee was fantastic in between the lines, crossing guys. He won the ball back in some key moments as well. So also doing the defensive part of that was really important. Maguire had a great game. I mean, defensively, he was immense back there. Like, great tackles, good headers.
Obviously scored the winning goal.
And then scored the winning goal. Hey, Maguire, look, I ain't see nothing, man. We didn't see the line, bro. We didn't see it either. So it counted, and that's all that matters. Yeah. We love the no VAR days. So
facts. We'll take it.
We'll take it. So yeah, those guys. Bruno was a workhorse as always. I mean, obviously that's an expectation, and he goes under the radar a lot. But He works so hard for the team, and I think it's unfortunate seeing him in a deeper role because obviously Bruno is one of our most creative players.
He's kind of being stifled, being put like deeper on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're relying on his work rate deeper in the midfield to kind of like win ball back and apply pressure in situations to, force turnovers.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, when Bruno Fernandes is deeper on the field, we're going to get less assists from him, less goals from him. And so that's a little bit,
less
what
of
we
the,
saw.
More obvious production from him.
Right. So he still got the set piece assist today, which was, fantastic.
Him,
because he pinged the ball to Maguire.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously I personally would love to see Bruno more in those like attacking creative positions where he truly flourishes. Yeah. I would love to see Dalot actually play as a wing back on his preferred right foot side.
I know.
And same with Dorugo.
Dorugo.
I gotta look up his name and lock that in. But same with him. Like he's a left-footed player. Let's play him as a left wing back on the left side so that he can use his strong foot. And for the love of God, somebody give some service to our forwards. But we're staying with the positives.
Yes.
And into the next round of the FA Cup. We're glad that
we'll take it.
We're advancing, obviously, as the former cup holders. It's important to, kind of try and defend the trophy and at least,
of course,
make a good charge of that.
Might not seem important now, but
right, it might not be important now, but hey,
at the end of the tournament,
you get money from qualifying, from winning the trophies. You get, all of that is transfers, right?
Yeah,
we want transfers,
right?
We should win trophies,
but we don't want to look towards winning the FA Cup.
I understand the concept of thinking of it being like a Band-Aid on a bigger problem.
Well,
but
yeah.
We also need to start addressing.
Band-Aids are okay sometimes.
Yeah. And we need to address the bigger problem at some point. But yeah, so the positives, I think those 4 guys were really key today. And they were essentially, they're the reason we got the dub. So they were immensely key, and yeah, into the next round, I think United has to play better football.
Yeah.
And now with new signings coming in, now it's been, the commentator said, 20 games now under Ruben. So now that's, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So there's
and
not.
What did he say? 21 goals in 20 games? Was that the stat?
Yeah. The stats aren't.
We don't need to talk about the stats.
We don't want to break down the stats in his 20 games so far. But I think at some point, I think the fans, you could sense it at Old Trafford. Things are starting to shift a little bit because the expectation will always be there at this club and at this level of sport also. And again, you see coaches come into other teams, into smaller teams at different clubs, and then they snap their finger and the team's playing better football, and the team understands what the coach wants, and then they're getting results. That's the story with Nottingham Forest. That's a story, right now with Everton. That's a story right now with, Unai Emery and Aston Villa. So I think no longer can we hide behind it's early and we don't have
it's not early anymore.
It's not early anymore. We're in the second half of the season. It's time to start seeing some sort of progress.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get people to back you if they're not also seeing the progress, right?
Facts.
Because that's what happened to Ten Hag. He was also trying to progress towards a thing, towards a vision that he saw. He wanted to progress towards building a team that could play his brand of football, right? It's the same story we've already seen. And we can fast forward that to Mourinho before, and to Solskjaer before, and to Van Gaal before. Every manager wants to build their system that they want to follow. But you don't always get that time guaranteed. And it's always going to be based off of the results that you get. So today we snuck by there in the absence of VAR. Let's hope that it's better next week. But yeah, shout out to Maguire with the game winner and Bruno with the assist. Garnacho and Zirkzee for changing the game. And yeah, that's all she wrote. So good win from the lads. Well, not a good win. Win from the lads.
A win.
But yeah, a win. But those were our thoughts on Manchester United's win at Old Trafford in the FA Cup against Leicester City.
If you made it this far, thanks for tuning in. And did I miss anything?
No. And we'll see you next
We'll see
time.
you next time. Bye.
We need some shots on target, man. That's what we need in the first half.
Please.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
watching.
watching.